Hello everybody, Joshua back here again with another video, and today I bring you another Who Would Win battle. It's time to do this. Now first off, I want to make it perfectly known that I know I'm a little late to this fight. This was supposed to come out last week, but because of, you know, so many I just didn't have enough time in the week to really do it. I know that's kind of like a poor excuse, like, you could have done it, you asshole. I mean, sure, but there's just not a lot of time in the week when you have like thousands of other things that are going on, so I'm sorry about that. I really wanted to put it out earlier than later because this is like my most loathed fight that I really don't even want to do. And I'm not saying that because it's a terrible requested fight. I'm saying it because it's a fight that I really don't know where it could end up because it's so random, the choosing in these characters, that I have no idea how it's going to go. And of course, if you're wondering what is today's fight, obviously if you didn't know from the thumbnail and title of this fight, it's obviously a death battle. Speculative battle, rather, against Itachi Uchiha from the Naruto verse, and of course Ultron from the Marvel universe. Now, of course, this was a requested fight that was something that when I first heard it, I was like, wow, that's really interesting. And then when I got closer and closer to actually thinking about it, I was like, wow, I really don't know where that can end up. And then when I did my first episode, which, let's see, how long ago was that? Like a good 2 weeks ago, almost. So it's been a pretty decent while, since the first one. And when that first one was released, once again, thank you for the response. I mean, like, the response I got from my, Iceman versus Sub-Zero fight was so good. I love the fact that I'm not the best at this kind of area, and I say that mostly based off the fact that if you go on YouTube right now, there's tons of great YouTube channels that dedicate battles or fictional fights that are really engaging, entertaining, and debatable against various characters, and they do it well, whether it be animated, video gamed, just talking about it like I do, or just like actually using live actors in their roles. Multiple people do it on YouTube, and they do it perfectly, and I don't really think I do it that good, which is one of the main reasons as to why I'm trying to, you know, obviously progress this thing a little forward. But the fact that I still get a really good response from viewers and fans of every respected character I use is just really awesome to see. But that being said, I just wanted to say thanks and a good shout out to all of my subscribers and viewers who watched my first episode in my Wave 2 of Who Would Win battles, and it was a great time. This one, however, I have no idea how it's going to go down. I really don't even want to do it because, like, the second I uploaded that first one and I announced, like I just realized I announced Itachi versus Ultron. Like, how is that going to go down? Like, these characters are so different, and they come from two completely different universes that I don't even know how they're going to match up together. I mean, looking, like, just researching the characters and researching their powers and abilities, I'm like, I just don't see it. So, at the end of the day, I want people to keep in mind, whoever watches this video who's like a hardcore Naruto fan or a hardcore Marvel fan, to keep in mind, number one, I'm not the biggest fan of either one character. I like Itachi, I kind of like Ultron, but I'm not big fans of them. Obviously, I'm not the biggest Naruto guy, and I'm also not the biggest Ultron guy. I actually think Ultron is like the weakest, most useless, like, Marvel villain, or Avengers villain, rather, because, you know, he's more of an Avengers villain than anything else. I mean, like, I just don't see the appeal in him. I never did, and even after watching the Joss Whedon Age of Ultron movie, I'm still like, nah, he was a whatever villain, and that's how I feel about him. So, at the end of the day, you need to keep that in mind when you watch this fight. And also, too, if I ever, at this point in time, mispronounce, misuse, or completely diabolically, like, announce the winner, and you think that another supported character should have won, then of course, in the comment section below, let me know where I got my shit wrong, where I got my statistics wrong, where I got a speculation wrong in the fight, because at the end of the day, I don't know too much about Itachi. I like Itachi. I mean, like, out of every character I saw in Naruto, other than Gaara, he's like my favorite. He was really cool, but other than that, I'm not really in depth with him as I am like any other kind of character. And Ultron, well, like I said, I really don't care for Ultron. So, once again, if I get anything wrong with either one character, then of course in the comment section below, let me know what you personally think and give me your personal speculation. Because that's what's important. I mean, like, even though I announce a winner in these videos, does not mean by any means that I personally think one character would actually beat the other. It's more or less the point of this segment on my YouTube channel is to support, awesome, just, obviously, spreading the word on certain characters, just having fun debating, which character would fight each character or who would win each character, but obviously asking you the most important question is, who do you think would win in a fight? That's the sole purpose of this segment, and that's the sole purpose of, going on my Twitter and, obviously giving me a tweet as to who you think would win. Which, of course, once again, just go to @JohnStrick12 at twitter.com and just hashtag who would win and whatever, battle it is, and just let me know who you personally would think would win. That being said, let's get into this who would win battle speculation. First off, let's go into Ultron's powers and abilities. Now, obviously, Ultron is a AI. He's a fully animatronic character. He's a fully robotic character, and he has this entire, robotic body that was constructed by Hank Pym. For those of you who don't know, Hank Pym is who is actually the Ant-Man, was the creator of Ultron, and of course, he's a robot. He also has superhuman strength, incredible strength, where he's capable of lifting, I want to say, at least 100 tons. He has superhuman speed. He has super durability. He has flight. He has concussion blasters, which is essentially like, if you've ever seen Iron Man, he essentially has the ability to channel plasma beams, and plasma, abilities and what have you, tractor beams, radiation emitters. He has multiple energy absorption and just abilities that construct from his arms and skeleton. Obviously, if you just research the character alone, you'll find amazing stats that talk about the details of Ultron's body, his physicality, and what his specific, blueprint as to every single portion of the body. So essentially, if you want to understand more, get more in depth with the details of Ultron's basic, evolution and his blueprint, if you will, you can essentially find it relatively easy online. Moving over that, he has multiple abilities. He's pretty much the world's strongest robot expert. He's super strong, obviously. Just multiple uses of equipment, robotics, transportation, weaponry, just multiple fucking badass shit that Hank Pym essentially gave him for reasons unknown. And the great thing about Ultron is that he never really dies. He essentially comes back bigger and stronger than he ever did prior to his last battle. If you read any kind of Avengers comic and Ultron is the main villain of that specific comic, you would know right off the bat that obviously Ultron has upgrades every single time. So when it comes to this specific fight, you can use any which Ultron you want. I'm just going to use your everyday average generic Ultron, but you can use any version. You can use the female, you can use Annihilation, you can use the iron armor that he gets from Tony Stark. You can use any kind of various version of Ultron you could pretty much use in your own specific fight, but I'm just going to use the standard one. But that being said, Ultron has, the great thing about him is that his outer shell, besides his basic robotic form, is completely composed of adamantium. And for those of you who do not know what adamantium is, it's essentially the strongest metal known to man in the Marvel Universe, and it's obviously the main source of, the skeleton structure of Wolverine. It's just a very dense iron-based alloy that's virtually indestructible. It's incredibly useful in these kind of fights, and I really find it difficult for real weaknesses in the battle where adamantium is used in any kind of form. The great thing about, or the great weakness rather, when it comes to adamantium, if you find a way to essentially get through Ultron's adamantium shell, he's pretty much vulnerable, and that's his major weakness. His skin is pretty thick. He has a really nice titanium alloy that covers him, but if you can pierce that, he's pretty much done. But of course, you have to get past his adamantium. But that being said, that's pretty much the gist of Ultron. He's essentially just a super-powered robot with some abilities, great blasters and beams that come out, that retract from his arms, and kind of like Iron Man style. And of course, obviously, he's a super genius. He has a superhuman intellect. And the great thing about this fight is that it's up against two characters that are super smart. The great thing about Itachi and Ultron is that they're almost on the same level when it comes to intelligence. So regardless of either one's powers or abilities, this fight's going to really depend on the intelligence of whether character can really use the weakness against each other. Moving off of that, let's get into Itachi's powers and abilities. Now, obviously, as I mentioned, they're both intelligent. Itachi was born as a prodigy. He was a known born prodigy, and obviously his clan. He has multiple chakra and physical powers. Obviously, he has the most recognizable Naruto trait, which is mostly due to the Sharingan, which he can use to pretty much sense out and call out chakra and use it for various reasons. And he also has Genjutsu. He has fire-breathing transformations and techniques. He can also use Bukijutsu, if I'm saying that correctly, Ninjutsu, which is essentially like his shadow clones, but with crows, which is pretty badass. Really interesting. Moving off of that, he's also very skilled with swords. He's a very strong, but the really interesting thing when you research Itachi, he's a pacifist, which is really funny and weird to see that. He's a very intelligent, strong, independent, powerful character, but he's a pacifist. So at the end of the day, he's not really into fighting. And when it comes to a fight like this, I really find that that's his biggest weakness, is that when it comes to strength and when it comes to fighting not powers, but prowess, it really comes down to which one's going to want to kill the other. Itachi, I don't know if he's going to go that far when it comes to his fight with Ultron. Their intelligence is really up to snuff. Their speed as well. Powers, sure. But the thing that comes down to it is the fight itself. Is Itachi going to really be able to take down Ultron? I don't know. It's really going to have to go down to the inevitable question, is that who's going to outsmart the other one. But that being said, let's get right down into the speculated fight itself. At the end of the day, I don't really see how Itachi can really win. He has multiple crazy abilities that I can't even pronounce because obviously I'm not the hardcore Naruto guy. And obviously, I don't really see, comparing both powers and abilities of either one character, I don't know how any of his jutsus or ninja skills are ever going to take down Ultron. Ultron dominates him through flight, he dominates him through strength, he dominates him through speed. The only thing that they have against each other is Itachi's intelligence. Itachi, it really depends on how smart he can outsmart Ultron. Ultron has the intelligence of Hank Pym. Hank Pym, for those of you who don't know, is probably the most intelligent character in all the Marvel Universe, and Ultron has his brain and shares his same, psyche. So that's a real big factor. Intelligence, he's pretty much going to dominate, but Itachi's also incredibly smart, so I don't know how it's going to factor into that. Powers and strength, Ultron dominates. It's not even a question. He's so much stronger. Minus adamantium. Let's take adamantium out of it. He's still stronger. Based in his basic robotic form without the help of adamantium, he's still stronger and well built to the perfect, single-handedly amazing human perfection. He's just human perfection in his robotic form, minus adamantium. Itachi, I don't know how he's gonna face off against someone so strong. Speed-wise, I really don't. Speed, I say Itachi can get him on when it comes to speed. However, I don't really know how that's going to come into place if he has the multiple blasters and he has flight. But the interesting thing about Itachi is the specific jutsus that he has that he can put on Ultron and use against Ultron, which is really interesting. Like, how is that going to come to effect where he can pretty much destroy him mentally? I don't know how that's going to go down. It really, really, really depends on how well. I think at the end of the day, if you put in all the powers aside, you put out adamantium aside, you put out all the chakras and the multiple jutsus that Itachi has and Ultron has, it really has to depend on which character is going to outsmart the other. Ultron, I think, he may be not as smart as Itachi, and he may not be as physically capable of taking him down, but he has adamantium. Itachi's never going to pierce through that. It's never going to happen. No amount of chakras or transformations or jutsus or shadow clones are ever going to take down adamantium. It's just not going to happen. He has him through strength. He's stronger than Itachi. Itachi can't take him down. He's just too weak in comparison to Ultron's strength. Speed, Itachi, I think, would be able to outrun him. I've seen Naruto characters run, and they're very good sprinters, but when it comes down to flight, you just can't beat flight. I don't care how fast you are running. Unless you're like the Flash, I don't really see how, if one character can fly and the other one can't, I don't know how that's going to go down. Moving off of that, powers, Ultron just needs to fly over him, blast him with a beam, and that's pretty much the end of the fight. Itachi, I don't see how he can win. And that's not me trying to sit here and dog on Itachi Uchiha. Itachi Uchiha is a badass and he's really cool, but I just don't see, when I research both characters and I look at and I read in detail, Itachi's intelligence, Itachi's, transformations, Itachi's Sharingan, Itachi's jutsus. I don't see how any of that's going to have any kind of effect on Ultron. Ultron is just stronger. He's more powerful. He has something that Itachi can never pierce through unless unless Itachi gets his hands on a freaking adamantium sword, like Silver Samurai style. I don't really see how it's going to happen. So at the end of the day, I say Ultron wins. And that's not me trying to say Ultron's the best. It's like I stated in the beginning of this fight, I'm not the biggest Ultron guy, but that's kind of just my brief speculation. But overall, that's pretty much it. Who do you think would win against a fight with Itachi Uchiha and Ultron? I mean, this fight, really, at the end of the day, even though I announced the winner, I still don't know who could really win. I mean, I don't have that much faith in Itachi beating Ultron, and I don't really even care if Ultron wins. So that's kind of like the predicament I'm kind of stuck in. That's, I'm like Malcolm in the middle here. But at the end of the day, it really comes down to who you think would personally win in a fight, Itachi or Ultron. Let me know in the comment section below who do you think would personally win in a fight between the two. Itachi's awesome, Ultron's awesome in their own special right, but I'm all for Ultron. I think Ultron just has a lot going for him that Itachi can't really beat. And that's just based off my own personal speculation. You don't have to agree with it, but let me know in the comment section below what do you personally think. Moving off of that, let's get into the teasers for next time's fights. Next time on my Who Would Win Battles, Episode 3 of Wave 2, I'm going to take Piccolo. Yes, Piccolo from the Dragon Ball series versus Martian Manhunter from the DC Universe. Yes, it's time to take the two biggest, strongest green aliens from two of my favorite properties and universes coming together. Yes, Piccolo, the Namekian, the Super Namekian versus the last Martian, John Jones. Yes, it's time for them to butt heads and get shit done. This is actually a fight that was not requested. This is actually a fight, probably my only fight in all of Wave 2 that I actually wanted to do on my own. And I personally can't wait to speculate on it. Let me know what you personally think, your preconceived notions of how that fight's going to go down. You can comment below in this video, or go to my Twitter at JohnSker12 and let me know what you personally think using the hashtag Who Would Win Piccolo versus Martian Manhunter. Let me know what you personally think. Hope you guys enjoyed this fight. And of course, if you've not done so already, go back to my channel and check out my previous fight. I'll probably have a card somewhere, or an obvious, no, I'll probably just have an annotation, rather, to my last fight, who would win between Iceman versus Sub-Zero. You want to know who would win? Let me know in the comment section below and watch that video, and then let me know what you personally thought about it overall. Let me know everything you have to say, because, once again, I'm not the biggest Itachi and Ultron guy, so if a character did not rank up, or I did not rank them up well, let me know in the comment section below. But that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already. And this has been JohnSker12.